So we're starting at a -1 today.
Hard Rock.
Yeah, just started checking in on the chat. If that looked unfamiliar, it's because I am famously unchecking in on the chat.
Hard Rock.
For your host extraordinaire, or host only air.
Hard Rock.
I got notes.
Hard Rock.
For all of my viewers with motion sickness, I've got your back.
Hard Rock.
If reconsider all my life choices that made me do this show for 10 years.
Hard Rock.
I have a bite on my lip.
Hard Rock.
As they say on Arrested Development, a forget me now.
Hard Rock.
If you think this show is bad, like now, like this show is polished AF compared to how it was 10 years ago.
Hard Rock.
I actually didn't come here to talk about any of those things.
Hard Rock Lunchbox.
What is up? Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Hard Rock Lunchbox. It is October 24th, 2023, or at least so I am told. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing just great. Thanks for asking. It's funny on those days where it's like I can literally hope everybody is doing better than I am, because that would be good for pretty much everybody. It's a slow start to the day, slow, cumbersome, troubling start for the day for me, for your host extraordinaire, or host only air, I guess, of the Hard Rock Lunchbox. Yeah, man, I got notes. I got notes. Howdy. Yeah, I kind of got notes all over the place. I'll get to stuff as I get to stuff. I know that might seem obvious to you and anybody that... Oh, here's something I forgot to do. Totally forgot to do something. All right, good job. So we're starting at a -1 today. It's better than most shows. Man, there's so much going on, and I personally cannot believe it is the end of the summer. I mean, not the meteorological one, but Labor Day really is kind of coming up. My daughter starts school again next week. I didn't even consider that. Our neighbor left for college yesterday. So Charlotte College classes start up again next week, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it's still August. And she's like, yeah, we start in August. I was like, I don't think that's right. Granted, it's been a long time since I was in college, so she's probably right. She's usually right, so I don't know. Did anybody get a chance to check out the top 20 this past week? I'm curious what anybody thinks of the video situation. It seems to be like it's doing a little bit better. I've figured out, what's funny, I figured out actually how to get the AI to start doing kind of what I want to. Basically, I just have to start the programs in a certain order, and that might sound stupid, but like, if that's what's up, that's what's up. I don't really care. I'm happy to actually have something work. I actually have another camera I'm gonna try when I get a minute, but if this is good for everybody, it seems to be good for me. The quality seems to be a lot better than it was. And that's like a double-edged sword, right? Like, I like I'll get to that in a second. So the Lumina camera that I'm using right now, it's good because it shoots at 60 frames per second and in 4K, which is awesome. So it gives me like whatever options I want to do. The OBS software that I use to record it seems to be doing a job. I've gotten the two to talk together. That's the part where I have to start things in a certain order. Like, Lumina has its own like AI engine, and I actually have to turn that on. And the one feature that I am using of it, like kind of on the regular, so that it just sort of jives with the background here, is I am using the automatic cameraman, which is kind of a cool feature. It's like, if you see the video sort of shifting around, that's what it's doing. It's supposed to centralize like right on my beak here. So it's supposed to center the frame, which is why, like I said last week, like if I move like over here, it will slowly start moving that way. And I turned the slow, I made it a lot slower so it wouldn't be so noticeable for for all of my viewers with motion sickness. I've got your back. That's basically what that's all about. But anyway, I seem pretty happy with it. I'm still having trouble with audio, but since I'm not doing interviews currently, it doesn't really much matter. I'll figure that out at some point. I keep thinking there's going to be this mythological period of my life where I'm going to get all this time back, and it's not true. Like I'm just trying to schedule stuff. Like I realize like I'm penciling stuff in like weeks out, and then I'm like trying to confirm things, and I'm actually doing it in the most archaic manner. Like not only am I putting it in like all my electronic calendars, but I'm putting it like on my physical calendar, so I physically see stuff that I've decided is important enough that I need to build everything else around it, and that's been getting kind of hard. But I was glad to be able to sort of confirm something that I've been wanting to do for a while. So I'll be doing that next week. Probably doesn't involve you, so don't worry about it. Won't interfere with the box at all. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, just sort of checking in on the chat. If that looked unfamiliar, it's because I am famously unchecking in on the chat. But I did want to check in the chat. I'm grateful that that the people are here. Thank you for stopping by and saying hello. I really do appreciate that, because it's lonely out here. It's actually probably less about lonely and more about just feeling stupid for just wasting time. It's like, seriously, I can't keep talking about all the time I don't have and then do a show that nobody listens to, so I'm super grateful that people even bother to listen to it. I can't tell what the downloads are. I stopped reading the statistics on the podcast or the replay of this. It's like hundreds and hundreds of like downloads and stuff that people listen to, but like it doesn't seem to translate into anything, so I don't really know what happens. I know a lot of people listen live, and I'm super grateful for that. And I'm just grateful for people that listen live as I am for people in chat. I mean, people in the chat are just funny and having their own show, and I appreciate that as somebody that just appreciates stuff that's cool and good in the world. So that's fun. I guess I got a little light housekeeping to do. Like I said, the new top 20 video is out. The Free Punch in the Nuts episode, it's episode 138, which is just bananas to me. By the way, I also realized I guess I've just blown by completely the 10th anniversary of this show, because I know it's in August at some point, and we're at the end of August. So probably in our 10th year here at the Hard Rock Lunchbox, which means I'll probably change the graphic and also sort of reconsider all my life choices that made me do this show for 10 years. Which I think is still a pretty impressive amount of time to do absolutely anything. It's right up there with having kids and, having a mortgage. Like, those are things you do for 10 years, right? So, yay me. Congratulations to me. But I'll figure that out. I don't exactly remember when the date is, but I do think it's early August. I'll check that out. I'll get back to you sometime in September. Wait, we have one more August show. So maybe I'll do something for the 31st. I mean, I think we all kind of know I'm not gonna, but like, maybe we will. Maybe I'll just at least acknowledge it, find out when it was. Maybe I'll even play clips from the very first show, which I've listened to over the years, and I assure you, if you think this show is bad, like now, like this show is polished AF compared to how it was 10 years ago. Like, man, I can't even begin to tell you how bad it was. But that's neither here nor there. If you want to check it out, I'd appreciate it. I talk about how true facts really are just facts, and people should stop doing that. Stream of consciousness, time to promote, necessity production, how it's important to break yourself down in order to build yourself back up. That would be cool, so feel free to check that out. Revel 9 World News. We have our next show is going to be October 27th at Mr. Beery's. It's going to be our Halloween show. I'm waiting on one more band to confirm, which would be really great if they do that. If they could do that like right now, I'd super appreciate it, so I can get that off my plate and stop building and move into the production part of the show, which would be much better. Also in December 8th, will be our next show. Will be another show. That'll be over at Nostalgia and Bethpage. It's going to be a Long Island Rock Unplugged. We've already got commitments from a few people to do that, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Just make sure you mark your calendars. Also, hopefully you saw this, the Side Out lyric video came out on the 18th. I thought it was really, really good. I did not do it, so I'm allowed to say that I thought it was good. I thought it came out really good, so give that a look if you want. I actually I actually sponsored it or advertised it on Facebook, which is something I haven't done in a real long time because I just don't think it's worth the money, and it isn't. But I did realize, and I think I was saying this last week, that like the simple fact that I cannot communicate to a wide spread of the Revel 9 universe, which is not large, by the way. It's not like I'm trying to let people know that are visiting, like, you know, Ganymede or any of the other moons of Jupiter. But I'm trying to let people know that are real, honest-to-God Revel 9 fans have absolutely no idea that Revel 9 put out new material. They don't know it on Spotify because they don't do stuff like live and breathe for their release radar like some people do. Like, they don't watch YouTube, they're not subscribed to our channel, or if they do subscribe to our channel, they, like, nobody cares about notifications. I mean, like, honestly, how many notifications do people get every day that just, like, swipe? I mean, like, people just don't care. So unless you get in front of them, like, yo, dude, we have a new song out. It's actually really good. And the only way to really do that, I thought, this time out, was to pay for it. And I will tell you, I did not pay all that much because, again, Revel 9 audience, like, isn't that big of a deal. I mean, Facebook is a dying medium as it is. I mean, there's, like, 10,000 Revel 9 fans. I mean, like, how many of those are actual fans? I have no idea. How many of those are people that are even remotely interested in Revel 9 anymore? I also don't know. So, you know, but, like, that's who I pitch to because those are the people that I'm trying to at least let know that we've got. We do the Revel 9 group, but it's just sad. Like, you know, and not the Revel 9 group, but, like, I love the Revel 9 group because it's a good way to communicate about shows and stuff like that, but it's just, there are so many things. Like, it's just not an effective medium of doing it. I'm considering, like, just sort of launching, like, text signups because I'd rather get, like, 100 people that really want all the information, and I'll just text them. You know, I can do that from any number of services, and, like, look, you wanted to know when this happened, here it is. I don't want to burden you with information, but, like, this is what's up. And, you know, maybe I'll do that, maybe I won't. I don't know. My point is that I did that. I spent maybe $30 on it, and just the sheer volume of people, like, in the Revel 9 sphere that were like, oh man, that sounds good, great new song, people sharing it, like, you know. And I appreciate people that will share our video because it's like, we've talked about this for years. Like, Jimmy and I even had a very long conversation last time he was on here, or one of the times he was on here, about, like, there's very little that the fans can really do in this day and age other than information, right? So, like, yes, paying for merch and tickets and stuff, like, direct support, and that, like, that's always really good. But when people ask, like, what can you do, what can we do to, like, help you, like, share it. Like, I don't know who you know, man. Like, I just don't. And they're sharing it, which a lot of people have done, and I appreciate that. Just a simple share of the video, a simple share from Facebook that it exists, all that other stuff. And then I've got, like, maybe a handful of people, like less than 10, that have shared the video, and they're like, this song is awesome, like, you know, I like this band, but, like, this song is really good. It's there for something that gets somebody to read it, because honestly, if you just share something, people will see it, and that's awesome for awareness. Like, no shade whatsoever. Like, the awareness is super important, but it's always been, and it's actually the foundation of why this show exists, is because I would give recommendations of songs, and I could tell people why. So, you know, if you like a really heavy kind of song, like, give this a listen. Like, I've seen a few of those posts. Actually, one of the funniest ones I've seen was from my friend Frankie, who Frankie and I fight, like, really hard about politics. He's moved to Florida. He used to do a podcast and a show. Super supportive of musicians. Always has. Even brings it up when we argue. He's like, listen, man. He's like, we are not going to agree on this. I love your band. Hate your politics. And, like, I appreciate that, because even though I don't agree with him, like, I appreciate the level of evolution that it sort of takes to do that. Feels like it's something I'm still aspiring to be. My argument is definitely, like, I'm not arguing with you unless I really care about this particular issue and care enough about you to bother. So I feel like we're kind of in the same sort of area, but I appreciate it. But dude, like, I think the last time we even spoke, it was just like, basically, like, go F yourself. Like, that's where it was. And, like, you know, I got this in front of him, and he's like, yo, Revel 9 put out a dope ass track or whatever he said, and then put the thing. So like that's something that people can do. But my point is I just dropped this advertising thing, and even though I've been promoting it for weeks at this point, like the single itself on Spotify and YouTube, and then the lyric video on YouTube, like once I actually paid to get it in front of people is when people started sharing it, because people started seeing it and the views kind of like went through. Like we were actually going really slowly on Spotify. Like Revel 9 does not usually move that slow with new music on Spotify because it just doesn't. But this one was going very slowly, and all it could be was promotion, because as soon as I got it out in front of people, like we jumped over that 1,000 mark real quick, and that 1,000 plays is like a big mark because they don't even bother counting you if you're under 1,000. You check out most local bands and you'll see that less than 1,000 kind of thing on Spotify, because that's the number of plays they have. It's not even worth them putting up if it's less than 1,000. So once you kind of get beyond that marker, it's pretty good. And honestly, I have no idea what site out even is at, because I've been so goddamn busy. And we can kind of check this together if you want. Let's see, Revel. This is how easy it is. Like, it's just this easy. Revel 9. It's too bad, because if I had one of the stickers with me, I could just scan it, but I don't. Revel 9, artist, thank you very much. Side out, 2,475 plays. Right? When I tell you we were significantly below that before I did this advertising, I am not kidding. But that's a lot more respectable of a number. So thank you for everybody listening to it, and thank you for everybody sharing it. I really do appreciate it. I actually didn't come here to talk about any of those things, unsurprisingly, I'm sure. I'm going to keep this short so I can get onto the music. Like I said, I'm having a bit of a day, so I don't know how much I really want to engage in some of this conversation. But I've noticed, I guess I've just been noticing lately, and I feel like I've been talking about it for, a couple years. I don't know if it's since Trump or since COVID or post-COVID or whatever, but like, these are things that are not things that other people aren't seeing. And I've been talking about this sort of like this very self-centered approach that it seems like most people are taking. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm speaking at all funny. I have a bite on my lip. Like, I don't think you can see it right now. If you can see that, like, dude, I took a chunk out of the inside of my lip so bad. I think I did it while I was unconscious on Monday, because I feel like I woke up from the anesthesia with that in existence. And it is so big, it hurts so bad, but it is so big that I keep re-injuring it, but it's now also starting to affect the way I speak. Like, it feels like a third, maybe a quarter of my bottom lip is swollen, and it is just incredibly hard to exist like that. But that's neither here nor there. I have woken up from anesthesia, one of my greatest fears, by the way. And also, by the way, like, I don't remember going under. Like, I'm trying to, like, put this together. I know they said they were going to give me stuff to help me forget in case I woke up. So they did that. So I think that might be Hypnol, right? Like, I might have been given a, like, as they say on Arrested Development, a forget-me-now. But, like, I might have been given, like legally and properly administered the date rape drug. I have to tell you, man, there's nothing really as unsettling as that, because I remember what I remember about being in the hospital bed, and, like, I don't remember anything after a certain point, and every other time I've been under anesthesia, I always remember the count back, and I don't get any of that. But anyway, so talking about people being selfish and self-centered, and it's not so much that I want you to kind of look out for it, because I have to tell you, I feel really bad now that I've noticed it, and because I see it everywhere, and I don't want to say like it's affecting the quality of my life, because only really I can affect the quality of my life, I suppose, or I can determine what can affect the quality of my life. But it really is sort of disheartening, I think is probably the right word, to see so much selfishness and self-centeredness. And I identify a lot of the political stuff because it's people like cheering for their favorite teams. Like, I really wasn't much into sports. Like, I like playing them, but I was never a super fan even as a kid. And as an adult, like, I really had other things to do than really care about, like, the Mets or the Yankees and the rivalry between them. I personally, and I've said this publicly, I think it is so fun to just poke, Mets fans or Yankees fans and, Rangers fans and Islanders fans. Like, I love that. I don't care about, like, hockey's a perfect example. I do not care about the Rangers or the Islanders, but I care about people that care about the Rangers and the Islanders. And it's not like I want to work them up because I feel like that's the wrong thing to do, but I definitely enjoy when they happen to be worked up. And I just like, man, I wish I could, like, even the thing I'm like most passionate about sports-wise, like in terms of like the Women's World Cup that was just going on, like, Charlotte and I are still making our way slowly through the games, which I think is awesome. And I was so excited or so pleased and so proud of my daughter what she said yesterday. We were watching the semifinal of England versus Australia, which, by the way, as far as I'm concerned, has been the best game, like in terms of quality and like just sportsmanship. I think it's been the best game of the entire Cup for me so far. The semifinal between Australia and England, with the game between Sweden and the U.S. a close second, but that was more. That should not have gone the way it went, and it was just unfortunate. The Australia-England game went exactly the way it should have gone, and there was unfortunate on both sides, and, I feel like it was a really good balance. But Charlotte says to me, she's like, I'm really glad we kept watching this after the U.S. got knocked out. And I was, too. Like, I was really, really enjoying it. Like, I can't think of anything. Like, I just, like, look forward to sitting down and just, like, watching and consuming like that. So I was really super happy about that. And I've talked way too long, and I really did want to talk about this sort of self-centeredness and why it's disheartening. But like, honestly, it's so goddamn late. And I'm sorry I ramble, and I'm sorry I start late, and I appreciate everybody giving me the flexibility and latitude to just talk nonsensically in these streams of consciousness. And I find I need them on certain days, and I need them more at certain times when I'm laboring over the thoughts that I'm holding on to, the baggage that I'm trying to carry around. The only way I successfully know how to do this is to speak these things. And as I feel more and more stifled in the world because there's fewer and fewer outlets for me to release those things, I really become much more grateful and much more appreciative of the outlets that remain. So thank you all for listening to me say probably nothing for the past 20 minutes. I'll try and make it up to you with some music. I've got some cool Waterbury news. I know you didn't expect that today. That'll be coming, and I have some other kind of new style of music thing that I accidentally found because, again, I live and breathe my release radar, and we're going to have a Does It Box moment on that because this one is beyond my all comprehension, so I might even have my finger on the button to dump out of that one, but I'm going to rein you all in for that a little bit later. But for now, I don't know, man. Just trying to make my way, right? And I guess we have to start by making our way through the end of this conversation and into some music. It's probably a good idea.